Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Pranam, pranam. Namaskar, namaskar, namaskar. Namaskaram, namaskaram. Yesterday we were in second chapter and 50th we started, 48 over. Buddhi yukto jahadiha uphe sukrita dushkrite tasmad yogaya yujyasva yoga karma sukaushalam. One who prudently practices the science of work without attachment can get rid of both good and bad reactions in this life itself. Therefore, strive for yoga, which is the art of working skillfully in proper consciousness. As we have been prompted to repeat again and again, we are not going through the text and the meaning, we are trying to connect it with our daily life. Because we time and again we have been told the Srimad Bhagavad Gita is addressed to the man on the field. So when we come across with various challenges, duties, commitments, how do we handle? To some extent, proportionate to the extent we have our intensity, to that extent we will get benefit. So if we try to approach Srimad Bhagavad Gita with this angle, definitely it will give us some cushioning. And then we will be able to get back to a normal set gradually. So that is why we are now taking up a few shlokas from each chapter, say 6 shlokas from each chapter. And then try to find out. For enabling us to enter into it, we need the shlokas and the meaning, because most of us are not well conversant with Sanskrit. So we have to be guided by the meaning. But if we stop with that, it becomes academic. The moment we stop that, then we are back to square one. Bhagavad Gita will not come to us at all. But now we are trying another method by which the Gita is interpreting to us how to handle the daily life more effectively. With that perspective, we are looking at it. So then, when we look at that, the meaning comes, success in any endeavor is not a matter of chance, but the result of whole-souled involvement, commitment, precision in execution. The Bhagavad Gita teaches that one who prudently practices the science of work without attachment transcends both good and bad actions. True yoga lies in performing action skillfully with the right consciousness, proper consciousness. Skillfulness in action, yoga karma sukaushalam, is not just about external success, but about inner transformation. When work is done with full awareness, it becomes an expression of harmony, free from agitation and attachment. Such actions not only bring success but also elevate the performer to a higher state of consciousness. Proper planning and preparation, gathering the necessary resources, a systematic step-by-step approach, and mindful execution with meticulous care are all the expressed forms of dexterity in action. Proper planning and preparation, gathering the necessary resources, a systematic step-by-step approach, mindful execution with meticulous care are all the expressed form of dexterity or efficiency in action. This approach ensures that work is not only effective but also an offering, free from personal ego and attachment. When actions are performed with this spirit, they become instruments of self-purification rather than bondage. Refining work means transforming it from a mechanical routine into an act of mindful dedication. This happens when the mind is fully present in every action. There is consistency, attention to detail, and the focus is on the process rather than on the result. The focus is on the process. When actions are performed in this way, the work itself becomes an offering yajna, leading to inner harmony and efficiency. When we go through this, we remember, when we were interacting with students about 15 years back, they are all, I think, +2 students grown up. Suddenly we showed them from YouTube sand art. All of you may try that. Whatever we have written, it is there. From an ordinary sand, it is filled in a bottle with the different colors, The sand is colored differently, different types of sand. And then, ultimately, the finished product is about 5 or 6 images are there in the small bottle. Beautiful. And it takes about, say, 5 minutes or 10 minutes, at best 5 to 10 minutes for the performer. Of course, he must have been practicing it. But then we asked the students, what do you think? And they mentioned one by one. There were about 20 dimensions that came out. Exclusively on that, Here our example is, once Puja Swami Sachidananda Ji was requested to write a message for a souvenir. He wrote it on an unruled paper, yet when completed, the lines were evenly spaced as if written on a ruled sheet. There were no errors or overwriting, and the content was deeply inspiring. This demonstrated perfect efficiency, precision, mindfulness, and an unwavering commitment to excellence. And to him, it was an effortless performance. To us, it may be different. It came naturally. Nil mistake. We praise, we appreciate Swamiji's gesture. But what is it that he is teaching us? Then we know that, okay, in chapter number 2, sloga number 50, he says, the Lord says, dexterity in action. That is my offering. That means we are converting every action of ours into an offering to the Lord. So it will be foolproof, whole-souled. Normally our tendency is to appreciate and then keep quiet, Textual, academic. Or we become sentimental. We have got great regard for Puja Swamiji, so we will just remember that particular moment and forget about it. Through Gita now, when this is made known to us, that means God has demonstrated through Swamiji, that's all, to make me aware that this is dexterity in action. This is yajna. Not merely offering something in the temple or to the deity or to the guru. It is something to do with our every activity in every day. We may not be able to do it fully like this, but at least now he is prompting us. In as many as possible, let us try to bring this dimension, rather than simply praising. Then we move to slogan number 66. नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य न चायुक्तस्य भावना न चाभवयत शांति अशांतस्य कुतः सुखम्. There is no knowledge of the self to the unsteady, and to the unsteady, no meditation, and to the unmeditative, no peace. To the peaceless, how can there be happiness? Ashantasya kuta sukha. All of us want peace, A person who is unsteady in mind cannot truly meditate, as their thoughts remain restless and scattered. Even if they attempt meditation, their mind will constantly wander. Without a composed and quiet mind, peace remains elusive, and without peace, lasting happiness is impossible. So when I am passing through such period, now I realize, all because of my unsteadiness in the mind. So we try to make it steady as much as possible through any method that is okay for us. So whenever I get restless, I remember Bhagavad Gita now. How am I to do that? Because I know ultimately, if my mind continues to be restless, there won't be peace of mind. And ultimately, I want peace of mind. Out of, say, 10 such situations, I may be successful only for 1 or 2. That is all right. But still I am trying, The process. Example. Once Samira went to the zoo. She was fascinated seeing the monkey jumping around all over the tree in its cage. Then she went to the lake to see the beautiful white swans swimming peacefully in the water. She intently looked at both and then asked her mother, "Mummy, why is the monkey so restless and the swan so powerful?" Her mom replied, "It is their nature to be like that." Samira added further, "Why is it that I feel excited when I see the monkey, but feel like sitting quietly when watching the swans?" Mom replied, "Samira, that's a wonderful question. The monkey is restless because its nature is to be in constant motion, always jumping and swinging from place to place. It is driven by excitement, always seeking something new, which makes it hard for it to feel still. The swan, on the other hand, moves gracefully and calmly. Its nature is to glide smoothly across the water, undisturbed by the world around it. When you watch the swans, you feel calm because their stillness brings peace, just as quiet mind brings you peace." Samira thought for a moment, then asked, "So is it better to be like the swan?" Her mom smiled and said, "It is not about being exactly like the swan or the monkey. It is about understanding your own mind. Just like the monkey, your mind can be very restless sometimes, jumping from thought to thought. But when you learn to quieten your mind like the swan in the water, you will experience peace and happiness. Steadiness of mind brings true joy." There could be umpteen number of examples. But our mind should search for such example. That process, that process will help us. Simply hearing an example, it will not help us. We will forget. The moment the session is over, we will forget. But if we try to pursue such examples that had happened in our life, definitely it must have happened. Our restlessness nature to our boss, our restless nature to our elders, or the restless nature of somebody to the boss, somebody to the elders, it will come to us. And how was it? What is the net result? Then we know that we were also restless. Even after the affair is over, even if after the situation is over, still we feel restless. Whereas those who have heard it calmly, they will know that it's all a part of the show. They are not disturbed. That is how Gita enters into us. Just because we hear it is not going to come, but
needs to be inculcated solidly.
It has to be inculcated solidly.
think, keep on thinking.
Yes, sir. Yes.
The next one is what is happening? It's not working,
Oh, it's hung. It's hung. Escape.
No, this is not hung. This is not hung.
Now it's working. Now
This-
it will work. It was hung for a minute.
This is not working,
Oh.
And finally, 70th, very important slokas. Apuryamanam achala pradishtam samudramapam pravishandi yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishandi sarve sashanti mapnoti nakamakami. Just as the ocean remains undisturbed by the incessant flow of waters from rivers merging into it, likewise the sage, who is unmoved despite the flow of desirable objects all around him, attains peace, and not the person who strives to satisfy desires. This illustrates a person who remains steady and self-contained and self-contented, much like water naturally settling at its own level, despite being surrounded by sense objects. Such an individual has transcended cravings, not by deprivation, but by inner contentment and a clear vision of the ultimate goal. With the desires no longer dictating his peace, he flows through life undisturbed, anchored in higher awareness. When we go with children to the mall, we have gone there to purchase something, we are very clear about it. We straight away go to that particular department. But the children, they will be seeing this and that, they want us to go there, they want us to buy. Just imagine that, So this illustrates a person who remains steady and self-contained, much like water naturally settling at its own level, despite being surrounded by sense objects. Such an individual has transcended cravings, not by deprivation, but by inner contentment and a clear vision of the ultimate goal. With the desires no longer dictating his peace, he flows through life undisturbed, anchored in higher awareness. Example. Imagine a street vendor selling delicious sweets in a bustling market. He is surrounded by the aroma, colors, variety of treats all day, yet he does not feel the urge to indulge constantly. Why? Because he knows his purpose. His focus is on serving customers and earning a livelihood, not on satisfying his own cravings. Similarly, a person with a clear vision of his or her higher goal moves through life unaffected by fleeting temptations. Just as the vendor remains undistracted amid sweets, a wise person stays steady despite being surrounded by sense objects, finding peace in inner fulfillment rather than external gratification. Plenty of examples must be in our mind. We go to the beach, suppose you are seeing a river entering into it. Please make it a point to visit that place. Even in Prayagraj, where the Ganga and the Yamuna joins, you can clearly see that Ganga joining different color. But it doesn't go up. Look at it. So even in the midst of this thing, just like the ocean remains calm and it doesn't get excited at all. There is only a temporary, at the surface level, some slight movement. But beneath that, nothing. So similarly, when we are involved in any activities, if we are clear about the ideal we pursue, the goal to be scaled, nothing else affects us. Nothing else affects us. We are not carried away by anything. Most of us, who have been working, must have had the direct experience also. When we are working on a project, the whole soul involvement is there. Nothing else attracts us. So very important. So we had about 6 slogas. Unfortunately, this is not working. So we thought we will just go. So we said right knowledge guides to ultimate solution. Never be carried away by ups and downs. Stay even-minded in all situations. Dexterity in action. Patience and focus lead to peace. Remain untouched by outer influences. This is our sample study results. 6 slogas we take up. We try to understand the meaning and then pause for a moment. How does it relate to our daily life? Then connect it with an example. Then give the crux, the theme is brought out in few words. And these words are helpful to us. Even a casual reading will help. Never be right knowledge guides to ultimate solution. Sorrow comes from misunderstanding reality. True knowledge removes grief by revealing the eternal nature of the self. Never be carried away by ups and downs. Life brings joy and sorrow alike. The wise remain steady, knowing that all experiences are passing. Stay even-minded in all situations. Success or failure gain or loss. Equanimity is the hallmark of a refined seeker. Dexterity in action. Spiritual refinement is not passivity, but skillful action without attachment. The art of doing with depth and detachment. Patience and focus lead to peace. A distracted mind cannot find peace. Stillness comes when the mind is disciplined and anchored in the self. Remain untouched by outer influences, just as the ocean remains full despite incoming rivers. A refined mind remains unaffected by desires and disturbance. Merely reading this will not help. It will also slip into academic exercise, hearing, that's all. So this is the second chapter. And from here we move to the third chapter. Six slogas selected from 43 slogas. Key theme: act with dispassion, let go of attachment and aversion. After introducing the self and right knowledge in chapter number 2, Krishna now brings focus to selfless action. In Karma Yoga, action becomes a means of refinement, not a burden, but a path to freedom when done without ego, without clinging to outcomes. This chapter urges us to act from awareness, not from impulse or preference. It reminds us that inaction is not the solution. Rather, acting rightly without ownership is the way to inner growth. Acting rightly without ownership. When we become instruments to the divine will, action itself becomes worship and life becomes lighter, purer, more meaningful. We will just read out Shloka number 3. Be reflective and then act. 7. Replace the present with a move toward the future. 19. Selflessness, the only way to progress spiritually. 27. Be free from the sense of ownership. 28. Be an impartial witness. 34. Remain unaffected by attraction and aversion. Be reflective and then act. Shloka number 3. लोकेऽस्मिन् द्विविधा निष्ठा पुरा प्रोक्ता मया नखा ज्ञानयोगेन सांख्यानां कर्मयोगेन योगिनाम्. The Lord said, O sinless one, the two paths leading to enlightenment were previously explained by me, the path of knowledge for those inclined towards contemplation and the path of work for those inclined towards action. Path of knowledge, path of work. Our lives, one lives the life according to the inherent tendencies, whether contemplative in nature or always creative and active. Experience teaches that blending both lies in being contemplative and active. Both are necessary. So our life, be reflective and then act. Anything that we do. Let us go through the example. Shyam Udupi from Mumbai is by nature calm and cool. Once while returning with his family from Shirdi, at a traffic junction suddenly his car was hit by a lorry, causing serious injuries to the travelers. The car was also badly damaged. The lorry driver, without caring to stop or attending to the injured, drove away. Shyam, as usual, was least perturbed, handled the entire situation calmly, without any grumbling, and managed to send those who were injured to the nearest hospital and arranged the car to be towed to the workshop. Instead of grumbling, complaining, getting upset, making a big fuss, be reflective and then act. What had happened had happened. What is to be done is to be done. Handled. Just think. Umpteen number of instances will well up in our mind where we have failed, where we have succeeded. Be reflective and then act. Every day. A two-wheeler rider was going. There was a big bend. The road had potholes. He must keep left, But to avoid the pothole, he went on the right side. A car was coming. Naturally, he is on the left. Suddenly he put a brake, stopped the vehicle. Immediately the two-wheeler rider, he jumped, went to the person who drives the vehicle, apologized to him. He said, you wanted to avoid the pothole. Nothing wrong, but there's a bend, Please be careful, that's all. He could understand. Be contemplative and act or react. Otherwise, he could have shouted, A major accident would have taken place. He would have explained the whole thing and he would have blamed the whole thing. No. You wanted to avoid. But this is a bend, So try to slow down, wait, and then there is no other. Loving words. So, such small incidents, Like that, umpteen number of incidents will come. Where how this be reflective and act. It has helped us. If we had witnessed, if we had heard about it, it will have its own impact. We will not rush up with anything. Out of 10 again I repeat, if we are successful in 2, it's a big thing. Gita is entering into us. Slogan number 7. Yastindriyani manasa niyamyarapade arjuna karmendriyai karmayogam asakta sa vishishyate. One who controls the senses with the mind and engages in selfless action without attachment is superior. Vishishya, sa vishishya. One who controls the senses with the mind and engages in selfless action without attachment is superior. The mind cannot be restrained through sheer force. True control is achieved by redirecting it towards a higher purpose. If not engaged in a meaningful pursuit, it will break free and disrupt one's equilibrium. True control is achieved by redirecting it towards a higher purpose. Let us see the example, then come back. A camera loaded with plain paper will not capture any image, no matter how well lit the object is. However, if the paper is sensitized, even a brief exposure will imprint an image. Similarly, the mind, when focused on a higher goal, absorbs noble impressions, stays aligned with that purpose. All incidents we don't remember, Just think about it. Some incidents stand out. What does it mean? Our mind is sensitized. Especially when there is a value dimension in whatever we see or whatever we understand, that we can call it as sensitized. Then it leaves a mark. Even if we repeat 100 times, we will not get bored. Please think over. The theme is worded as replace the present with a move toward the future. Don't get stuck in the present. Present is necessary, to move to the future. Present immediately becomes past. Actually, there is nothing called present. Unless the mind becomes so steady, there is no present. If it is unsteady, every moment the past is swallowing it, Every moment, even now, the past is swallowing the present. There is no present. Either we are in the dead past, benumbing, or the exciting future, and we are not conscious of the present. So anything, when we react, we have to check up. As is where is condition, we are not accepting it. The past or the future. So that is what is here mentioned. Replace the present with a move toward the future. Because it is helping us, We are not sitting with that particular incident. We have moved, but it still stays with us, that impression. We can improve this also, even the examples. Think about it. And if you have got any better example, kindly let us know. Shloka number 19. तस्मात् असक्त सततम कार्यम कर्म समाचरा असक्तो ह्याचरन् कर्म परमाप्नोति पूरुषः. Therefore, always perform your duty efficiently and without attachment. A person who works without attachment attains the supreme. Selflessness is the only way to progress spiritually. Lalita, selfless action brings progress and inner freedom. When you work without clinging to outcomes, your energy flows unimpeded towards true success. Anxiety is not there. Let's say earlier we said, we have to be in the process. The success depends upon not on the outcome. Outcome will take care of itself, it has to be. When I put all the ingredients in the proper manner consciously, naturally it will become a tasty dish. Suppose if I preconceive the tasty dish, I may lose the efficiency. Selfless action brings progress and inner freedom. When you work without clinging to outcomes, your energy flows unimpeded towards true success. Lalita, a dedicated teacher in a rural village, spent years educating children who had little access to resources. She poured her heart into teaching, often buying supplies with her own savings, mentoring students beyond school hours, guiding them towards a better future. 1 year after painstaking efforts to get scholarship for a few bright students, she learned that bureaucratic delays had jeopardized their admissions. She could have been frustrated or disheartened, but instead she took a deep breath, kept working. Without resentment or attachment to recognition, she appealed to more organizations, found alternate sponsors, and ensured that the students did not miss their chance. Years later, many of her students became successful professionals, yet Lalita remained unchanged, still teaching with the same passion, never seeking validation. Her joy was in the work itself, not in rewards or acknowledgements. Her detached selflessness, much like the ever-giving sun, transformed lives without seeking anything in return. We also remember one more incident. A teacher who taught us in 53 and 54, years old, and we happened to be in a place where we used to see him often. He had retired. One day he met us on the road and he said, I'm going to Dubai first time. We asked him, sir, why? No, an old student had booked the ticket and has asked me to come. You remember the student? I have remembered. Okay. So when are you back? All those things. After coming back also we met. You know what the teacher said? On those days, the flights were not there from any other. We have to go to Bombay for all flights for abroad. You have to go to Bombay. So teacher also had to go to Bombay and get into the flight. Up to Bombay, he went by train. Stayed there for 3-4 days and came back. So he said, I will show you something which he gave me. After 2 or 3 days, the teacher took the pains to come to our place with a cover. And when he removed the cover, it was a stick. It was a stick with the golden plated or silver plated, that we don't remember. Then he said, because you gave me awards and beatings, I am sitting here in Mumbai now. And he gratefully remembered. And that is why he brought him there. If you had not punished me, I would not have. That's remembrance. This teacher has forgotten. He has no prejudices, he has no attachment. At that time, he was prompted to punish him. That's all, they left. But the student did not treat it as an offending. He took it in a positive way. And then he remembered. So when we hear such things, we remember. This is our real benefit. Not merely remembering. The dedication of the teacher, untouched, unaffected. He has been like that to everybody. That's why we also remember him. Though many years have gone, 53, 54 means just imagine how many years. First form, second form, something like that. But still we remember him with gratitude. teacher full of love and much caring for us. Suppose we fall sick, he will come to our place and see us. So like that, the dedication. So here the selflessness is the only way to progress spiritually. He has been happy. He says, my wealth is my shishya sampat, he said. Throughout his 30 years of teacher career, 30 or 35 years, he had number of shishyas, because he was sincere to the core, well-meaning, selfless. By doing this, we now know Gita is entering into us. Then, slogan number 27. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashah ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti anyate. All activities are carried out by the three gunas. But in ignorance, the soul, deluded by false identification with the body, thinks of itself as the doer. Wherever there is a mind, actions naturally follow. These actions originate in the mind, gain strength from the mind, and are ultimately executed by the mind. However, due to mistaken identification with the mind, the individual falsely believes that he himself is the doer. This ego, which arrogates action to itself, inevitably develops anxiety over successes and an intense attachment to the result. This is a little bit, unless you become a little bit introvert, it is difficult. But during our past moments, we can try and see this. Wherever there is a mind, actions naturally follow. These actions originate in the mind, gain strength from the mind, and are ultimately executed by the mind. However, due to mistaken identification with the mind, the individual falsely believes that he himself is the doer. 99% of all our actions come under this category. We identify with it totally. This ego, which arrogates action to itself, inevitably develops anxiety over success and an intense attachment to the result. A landowner planning to be away from some time grants power of attorney to a trusted friend to manage his estate. Imagine what would happen if this agent forgets that he is merely a representative and begins to think of himself as the owner. The result would be utter confusion and disorder. Similarly, in every action, one must remember that he is only an instrument, not the true doer. Again, a little more clarity is necessary to understand this. Because in our case, we have not started our life. The present me and mine in us had no role in starting our life. Think. It was started. Now we slowly understand. I did not plan for this. The present me and mine. On a different level, it is valid. But at this level, the me and mine who plans now that we will take this 3:30, 4:30 session, the one who feels that this is being read, that sense of individuality had no role in the birth of this individual. It is not planned by the present planner. That would be the right word. It was not planned by the present planner. So when somebody has planned, they know what is to be done. Otherwise they will not send us here. So we have been given a power of attorney to function as an individual. But the power rests with, not in us. If we are always conscious of that, there is no problem. But when I identify myself totally with my present life, I have to go through the ups and downs. Please think over. Slogan number 34. Remain unaffected by attraction and aversion. Indriya swarte. Huh?
Yes,
What you
but
said is so very powerful.
what you said is very
The
powerful.
life was started.
Ah.
That itself is very
Ah.
important message.
Yeah.
What
We are.
started is conducted.
That is why Papa says.
According to this wish.
That is why Papa says, go to the source. Root, source, origin. These are all some of his pet words. How many times he has used in many of his articles, Because we are chanting the name of one who is within us, who is making me to chant, When I take over the ownership of the chanting, bluntly he said, even if you chant for how many years? 100 years, you will be like this. Bluntly. Because the ownership is still felt by us. During his sadhana days, he was able to get it in the shortest possible time. When Father asked him what is happening, he said, God is making me repeat his name. He never said, I am repeating his name. The ownership, transfer of the ownership has already taken place. He knows he is only an agent under the power of attorney. This is the crux. If we are ever conscious of that, our spiritual journey becomes little more easier. Every time if this comes to us, that he has given us a power of attorney and function here as his representative in the field he has provided, then I will always refer to him whenever I am in trouble. What am I to do now? So Nama chanting is to make us aware of this truth, and prayer is to always communicate with him and place before him the problems we face. You made me to do that, but now I feel, I am in a jam, what am I to do? Again he comes, gives us some counsel and we handle. Again we may forget, again we get in touch with. This is what a true sadhaka goes through. In one go it may not be possible, accepted. But at least in the mind we should know we are all agent under the power of attorney. The sense of individuality has been given to us. So he knows what role we have to play, we have forgotten. We think we are the owners, we have drafted our own life. So that means we feel we are, our rights and wrongs, likes and dislikes, everything has come. And because of that, fulfillment or non-fulfillment makes us to dance this side, that side. And most of the time, ultimately, we become restless. We become miserable. Because every day, so many things he makes us to meet with. And everything he gives us a jerk. Because we feel, it is mine, mine, mine. Later on, only when we come to a guru like Papa, we understand, he is testing us, testing us, testing us. You refer, that's all. If you feel you cannot manage, you refer. Even while managing, you are drawing the strength only from me. So, let us see how the Gita is entering into us. Again we have to repeat, by all these exercises it will not help us. It will be as it was before. Instead of 700 slogas, we may be hearing about 108 slogas, that's all. But we are there where we started. But with every sloga or every point, suppose we try to link our life and try to understand, then we can say Gita is entering into us. Otherwise, it will also become another exercise, that's all. So, whenever we are now getting these slogas, at least one sloga we pick out from this, and then we try to go in our own way. And if we get the technique, then any sloga we will find something is there for us, something is there for us. So initially now we did the sieving, no? That which is easy for us to pick, so that we are putting ourselves on a process. And he enabled us to complete this 108, though it is yet to be refined. But he made us this trial. We will go through it again and again and again. We are not going for another 600. But this 108, suppose we go through, so many things will come out of it. So that the Bhagavad Gita slowly enters into us, or we are entering into Bhagavad Gita. That 18-roomed mansion, we are entering into at least one room, one side. So we pray to Papa who is seated within us, who is guiding us, to enable us to keep up the same tempo and eke out the maximum benefit out of this exercise, of course with the help of Ram Nam. Contemplative, and be contemplative and active at the same time. To remember him, we have to hold on to this Ram Nam. So nothing at the cost of our Ram Nam sadhana, but these are all side. This will enable us. When Papa said ceaseless chanting side by side with the attributes, enabled him to reach that stage. So these are all this will make us to know more and more about the attributes, rather than simply repeating that he is all pervading, he is indwelling, he is omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. All those words we have heard, we have not experienced, so it has not affected us. But these things, we are relating ourselves to our daily life. So that means the attributes become more and more clear to us, and that will help us when we chant. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om. On day after tomorrow, we will be away from ashram for 10 or 15 days to Kotagiri, Shanti Ashram. We will try whether the, what do you call this? Wi-Fi, internet connection is available. If it is so, we will try to continue this. Otherwise, after we come back, we will continue. We will try. Hari Om, Hari Om. Kotagiri. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Pranam. Tomorrow it will be there. Only day after tomorrow. Eh?
How many days, Swamiji?
I have applied for 15 days leave.
Padma said not sanctioned.
Eh?
Not sanctioned.
Okay, I will try to get in touch with you from there. Okay. Partially sanctioned. Okay. Hello. Not sanctioned.